Hey everyone, Catherine Avery, Reservate Interior Design. Why is that I always feel like my chair is so low compared to the video? I should really check that beforehand. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find the adjustment for the chair. And I'm gonna move up as opposed to down. There we go. That's funny, isn't it? It's the advantage to having an adjustable ergonomic chair. Hey, I'm gonna do a video on that one day. I bet you all will tune in for that. How to pick the right chair for you. And I'm in the process right now of dealing with a couple of clients where they're trying to figure out the right chairs for them. And it's a very personalized thing. Each person is going to want a different kind of chair. So one client, they need 12 chairs for the conference room, and they have to be particularly comfortable because in this particular company, they sit in the conference room a lot. They're designing. And when they're designing, they're in group meetings to discuss this, and they're either there with clients or just themselves, and they've got to have huge whiteboards and very comfortable chairs. Some clients, conference room's an hour-long meeting and it's not that important, none of which is what I'm here to talk about today. But see, I just love what I do, so I just talk about it. I'm actually here to talk about the second of the three sections of space style preferences from the TSSI, which is the time and space. I'm going to do it again. Style inventory. And Sina Block is currently laughing her tail off because I can never remember how to say that. And Sina is the creator of this. And it's just a brilliant way of looking at what kind of person you are. And first I'm going to say judgment-free zone. Completely. I don't judge. I've had messy, I've had tidy, I've had systems that didn't work at all. I have found systems now that work great for me. To each his own, no big deal. Let's find a system that works great for you. So the other day I talked about everything out, nothing out, and that's how you manage your space. And now I'm going to talk today about how you assign value to both your space and what's in your space. There's two kinds of people. And remember I said that all these things are on a spectrum. So on this one, we've got the savers and the minimalists. So this is sort of how you evaluate your possessions and how do you determine its usefulness. And I'm sure the book that kind of comes to mind for you immediately is The Magic Art of, oh boy, of course I'm forgetting, Marie Kondo. We were literally talking about this book, Carrie and I, last night, and she borrowed it from me. But it's about organizing and decluttering, and it's and it asks the question, does this bring me joy? So savers save everything because they're worried that at some point they'll need it, and surely it has a use. So I'll give you a place where I'm a saver. I save keys. I always feel like I run across a key and I think, what if that's to something and I forgot what it's to? And it's ridiculous because I have all these keys. But maybe I need to have like an art project. My kid's very creative. Am I going to tell her to take all the keys, make an art creative project, and then make it so that if I ever need that key, P.S., when do you think I've ever needed any of those keys? I probably should just let those keys go. But that's to give you an example. Other things I've come across as I was organizing my paperwork recently using the Productive Environment paper management system, which is unbelievable. I'm going to be talking more about that. I found information about how to market from like 2009. It's not even relevant anymore. So, let this kind of stuff go. But if you're a saver, you're saving it because you're worried about losing it and needing it and feeling you need to have access to it. And so you assign a value to those things. My value to those keys is, oh my God, if I come across that thing that unlocks and I'm not able to unlock it because I got rid of the key. Okay, I'll say a little crazy, but again, judgment-free zone. I keep keys. I don't keep all those marketing papers anymore. A lot of them are gone, which is great. So what are the disadvantages to being a saver? That's pretty obvious. It takes up your space. And anytime you take up space, you're using up energy. So spaces have energy, right? Negative energy, positive energy, right? And I'll give you a great example of how I've taken some negative energy and moved it out of my space. When I was clearing out a bunch of my files with clients, I don't ever get rid of any client files. It's too nerve-wracking to me. If a client comes back to me 3 years later and says, do you remember what color we painted in the conference room? Because we just put in a new TV, and when they were installing it, they knocked a part of the wall, and now we have to repaint. And I don't want to not have that information for them because, of course, they're my customers. You know, once you're my customer, you're my customer for life. So, but some of those clients were not always the easiest to deal with. And so I noticed they were in my file drawer, and every time I opened the file drawer to check on a client, there were some of these clients that were not as easy to deal with in my face right there, right? And I realized it was sapping my energy each time I went into those file cabinets. So what I did was I took a separate, you know, like a banker's box, and I put, and this is only for the older client files, the ones that aren't recent clients, so call them 5 years or older. I put them in a separate file box, and that can go up in my attic. And now at least it's not in my day-to-day workspace, and I don't have that energy kind of dragging on me. So something to think about if you're a saver is, one, can you release some of these things that bring negative energy to you? But also, two, if you can't release them because they're text files under 7 years or they're client files, where could you put them so they're not right in your immediate environment? So things you can do, only go out when you're purchasing something new, only purchase what you really know is going to bring you joy. Get rid of anything that no longer has value to you anymore. It's either past its shelf life. It's so funny, I found Benadryl on my daughter's shelf, and she had some from 2016 and 2018, and I went to open the 2016 one, and I'm like, it's 2017, just throw it out. Next, open the 2018 bottle. So I'm getting much better at this, working on my saving habits. And then let's talk about minimalists, which is the absolute opposite. The minimalist doesn't like any excess anywhere. They don't want anything on their counters. They don't like clutter. They're everything has to be very sort of controlled in their space, and they find it very easy to make those decisions about what to give away and what not to keep. And I think it's good, but it can mean that it's hard for you to enjoy something someone gives you. You might say, oh, I just can't have that in my space. It's way too much. You may not find those items to be sentimental, and maybe it would be nice, and you know, years from now you might say, gee, I really wish I kept Grandma's watch. It really meant something to me, and now Grandma's not here and I don't have that watch anymore. It's a crazy kind of thing, but I was just trying to come up with an example. So just recognize also that you may have had a parent who was a saver, and you've become a minimalist to be the opposite. And so just pay attention to things. Look, this is all about just looking at who you are, what your style is, without any judgment, and knowing that there are possibilities for different ways of being in your space, or workarounds for you, such as my filing difficult client files somewhere else. So minimalists, you're going to have systems to manage the items you keep. Frankly, savers, you also should have systems to manage those items. And just be gentle with yourself. Be aware that who you are is perfectly fine, whether you're a saver or a minimalist. That's our second category of space management styles. I'll be back, gosh, tomorrow's Saturday, so I'm going to guess I'm going to want to do something fun tomorrow. And I won't be talking about productivity. I'm hopefully going to be talking about another one of my amazing clients, because I've been hoping to introduce you to some of them as I go along through these videos. But it's been great talking about minimalists and savers today. If you have any questions, post them down below in the box. I would love to answer your questions about productivity. I'm Catherine Avery, Reservate Interior Design, and this has been your productivity segment of the day. Be well.